because my blood pressure was outrageous, like 5 to 10 milligrams and nothing more.
Welcome to the Success Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Christian Evans. This podcast is for adults who want to achieve success in their fitness journey. And our special guest today, Dr. Kendra Mayes from Arlington, Texas, will help us do just that by sharing her story of how, after going to the doctor and receiving the news that she had gained 40 pounds, she realized she had to make herself a priority, no matter what she had going on in life. Not wanting to be on blood pressure medication fueled her to lose 94 pounds. Today, we will chat more about the importance of having a great village of family and friends that helped her on her journey, losing weight while pursuing her doctoral degree, and how long she has maintained her weight loss. Without further ado, Success Fitness family, please welcome Dr. Kendra Mayes to the podcast. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Chris. I'm just so excited to be here on this morning.
I'm excited to have you just as well. I was talking to Dr. Kendra Mayes. I love saying doctor. I love just saying it. Doctor. Kendra Mayes. It's like putting some respect on the name. Right before we recorded, and we have been connected on Facebook for a while. And usually when I see somebody's weight loss transformation picture, I send a message and say, hey, would you like to be on the podcast? But for some odd reason, I must have skipped her, just not intentional, just moving fast. And I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful that when I did finally send it, she actually responded, and here we are today. So thank you. So you went to the doctor and they told you that you had gained 40 pounds. Around what year was this, and what prompted you to go to the doctor to get that information?
Oh, man, this has now been about 11 years ago. And I was actually having an allergy attack. And so I went to my allergy doctor and they took my blood pressure and she said, hey, your numbers are too high. Prior to that, really, wasn't taking numbers, didn't have to be concerned about it. I was already fit, all the things, right? And she said, I cannot let you leave. And I was a little bit taken aback by that. So I texted my mom and I was like, hey, these are my numbers. My mom is like, hey, where are you at? I said, well, I had to come to the allergy doctor today. She said, you need to get to the doctor. The allergy doctor said, you need to get to the emergency room. And that's what actually prompted a visit to my primary physician that began to talk to me about, at that time I was 33, turning 34, hypertension, of course, your ethnicity, things in your parental background, and just really begin to talk to me about what was going on in my life. I had not gained any weight since I had been out of high school, what was going on, and then what we were going to do about it. And so that's what prompted the visit to my primary physician. It was prompted by going to an allergy visit that said, hey, your blood pressure's out of control.
Now, this hits home for me, like, what is this, November? Almost maybe about a year ago around this time. I was kind of like getting more, I would say, a definition of what was going on with me. And it sounds exactly like what was going on with you in regards to allergies. Now, I'm not sure, had you dealt with allergies beforehand, before going into there, or was this something new for you?
I've always had asthma. So I was diagnosed with having asthma since I was 5. So we had controllable things in place that, certain things that I shouldn't eat, not being out in grass. I am a master of the seasons, even now, when to stay in, when to go out, what triggers your asthma. However, about 11 years ago, allergies actually changed. So they took on different symptoms. So now people are starting to get earaches. They're starting to get more headaches. They're starting to get hives. Whereas we would sneeze, there was an outward display, and we still get those symptoms too. But I had more of a skin hive situation. And so it was a combination of allergies and stress.
I got you.
Look, you'll catch that later. Allergies and stress. And in the midst of it, it was actually a saving grace to go to that appointment because my blood pressure was elevated. We don't know how long it had been elevated, right? Yeah. And so that's what prompted the visit. I'm going for something else, right? The blood pressure's out of control. I have these hives, and we'll talk about things that lead to that. as to the reason why you've got to put yourself on your calendar. You have to.
Yes. And that was pretty much similar to what was going on with me. I had just been feeling just uneasy.
Yes.
I was in traffic. Just my head just started spinning just out of nowhere. Literally, I'm in traffic. I'm probably about a half a mile from home, just praying to get home. Got home, took my socks off, start grounding myself outside. And my temperature was kind of rising. I was looking at my heart rate on my watch, and my heart was just going up and down. So end up going to the emergency room. Before I run, I use my secret weapon to maximize my performance, the Breather Fit. Not only does the Breather Fit strengthen my lung capacity, it helps accelerate recovery from my workouts. All it takes is 10 breaths for 2 sets to maximize performance before my morning runs. Use my code FITBREATHE at checkout to get 20% off. With Breather Fit, you work hard, but breathe easy. Come to find out, I had like an ear infection or ear clogged, and it's all caused by let's say just allergies, right?
Yes.
And super fast. And there's more detail on that. But everything that you said, it just sounds so similar to exactly what I was going through. And then they start giving me the numbers. And it's like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh my goodness. And, you know, I adjusted myself from there. And this was just 6-7 months ago, you know, in regards to me actually going to the doctor, you know, me, or just a guy, you know, we grow up feeling that we're invincible, you know, but those numbers that say something different, your body starts saying something different. When you're young, you're young. And when you start to get older, you know, you start to get older and you gotta, you know, check engine light on, you know, and start getting those numbers. And you're like, oh, snap, I am mortal. Yep. I do have to do, you know, something about that. To. Yeah. That's right. So when the doctor gave you all that information in regards to like your numbers and stuff, what was going through your head then?
So again, I'm still in a state of shock. I'm like, what? You know, because these are not words that were associated to me at any time, at any doctor's visits. I've never had these issues. And so he gives me this information. He starts talking about medicine. He starts talking about what are some things going on in your life. And I was like, hey, you know, bad relationship and a doctoral degree. He said, well, what are you going to do about it? And I said, I'm working, you know, 2 jobs. He said, what are you going to do about it? I said, I can get rid of the relationship. I said, I can put myself back on my calendar and I can finish my degree. And he gave me 2 weeks. And so in 2 weeks, I lost 11 pounds.
Wow.
And so what happened was I just simply went back to the basics. And so as our interview unfolds today, it is the simple things. You know, people want to overcomplicate this thing called health and wellness, but it's not. You know, I was always raised with balanced meals. I was raised with activities. You know, I played sports. I was on drill team. I was active. I was on step team. I was doing all the things in church. I was always moving. You know, I already had a bachelor's degree. I had a master's degree. We had to walk across campus to get those things, right? So I was always active. And then at 29.99 years old, that's when I actually sat down, literally. So when we tell people to sit down and to rest, that should be figurative. I literally sat down, and that's where the weight came from. So when you're burning your wicks on both ends, you know, you've got your personal and professional stress. You know, I'm at Whataburger all the time. That is my favorite thing with a strawberry shake. I got the Cinnabons, the Diet Coke, the Snicker bars, quick sugar rush so I can take the test, you know, do all the things that I need to do to feel accomplished. That's where the health started lacking. So he gave me 2 weeks. I just went back to the basics.
Okay. And those
and the moment I started moving, the weight started coming off.
So when you were in school at the time in regards to, as far as like prior to your doctor visit, you're busy, just the hustle and bustle of just life, you know, going for it. Now, what was the, your doctoral degree? What were you pursuing?
Okay, so I have a doctoral degree in organizational leadership. So I specialize in transformation. So my tagline is I believe in helping people to transform mind, body, soul, and spirit. And so I specifically studied African-American students and what was causing them not to graduate from high school, because the graduation rates at that time was a little bit less than 50%. And I wanted to know why. So I was studying leadership. So that was demanding. So I had a full-time job I had side hustles. I've always had my own businesses, right? And then I had this full-time doctoral program. And that program is very demanding. It causes you to have a lot of resilience and persistence in order to complete that degree. So my degree is in organizational leadership.
Okay. So you're going through all of that, just the hustle and bustle of just doing that. And that caused you, in a way, yes, you're putting yourself first, but then putting yourself second. You're putting like the professional part first, but the actual physicality, taking care of yourself, you end up putting on the back burner. You go to the doctor, get the news, and you're like, okay, let me go back to the basics. And the basics for you were just getting up and just walking and just moving, right? So what else did that consist of, nutrition wise or workout wise, for you to drop 11 pounds, you say, in the first 2 weeks?
Yes. So basically what I did was I got up every day 30 minutes early, because remember, I wasn't a stranger to health and wellness. So this wasn't a foreign concept. Balanced meals was not a foreign concept to me. So Sunday, I took the principles that I had from my childhood. And every Sunday we had to get our work clothes with our school clothes together, right? We had to look at whatever we were going to have from lunch. We had to get those lunch boxes filled. We had to review our schedule for the week so that we can be in all the right places, right? So I took the same concept. Every Sunday night, I prep 5 meals. Okay. So I would have my lunch together. I would get all my snacks. I started grocery shopping. Instead of taking my $25 to Whataburger or Wendy's, or Cinnabon, I took it to the grocery store. That was number one. And number two, I started doing walk away to pounds in real life. I literally got up every day and did walk away the pounds. Then I did practical things like walk on my lunch break. So, social media wasn't really a big thing. So it wasn't in any type of rabbit hole we were getting in. I would put on my headsets and I would go and walk 30 minutes on my lunch. And then I would walk after work as well. So I started out with walking, but I pulled back my nutrition and I stopped eating out so much.
I got you. So what were some of the things that you bought, like at the grocery store? You took, $25, same $25 you would spend at Whataburger, and now you're spending it at the grocery store. So I don't want to get too specific, but what would you spend that $25 on at the grocery store now? What are just some of the things that you spent there in regards to what turned into your meal prep with that $25?
Okay, great questions. So I would always buy lemons and limes. That's when I started making detox water. Lemons, limes, grapefruits, believe it or not. This has been over. Exactly. Lemons. So I would always have lemon, limes, grapefruits. I would make sure that I bought things to make salads. So that's when I found out how to make salad in a jar. That became my go-to. Loved it. Different type of protein. So, as you get certified in different things, you learn different things. But initially, I would buy things like the turkey breast meat that I could just put on my salad. My mom would always make me a batch of tuna fish. At that time, we were eating the sun chips back then. Now we have veggie tips and veggie straws and all the things. I would always buy fruit. So I would buy things like grapes and bananas. At that time, as you educate yourself, you learn. But those were basic things that I bought. And then, of course, I always had a nice to-go plate from my parents' home. So fruits, vegetables, proteins, very simple. Everything in my life was very simple. And I took my, whatever my mom would cook, I would, instead of getting the 12-inch plate, which is what the average person eats on, I had a 9-inch plate. So if she cooked spaghetti, I had that. Okay. If she cooked chicken, I had that. Whatever the plate was for the day, I had it, but I had it on a 9-inch plate. So I actually adjusted my portion size as well.
That makes a very big difference. That makes a very big difference as far as those plates, because
portion size.
Yes, we were getting the Sam's, the Chinettes. I think they were whatever the first ones that you said, maybe like 11 inches or whatever.
Yes.
And then we're like, you know what? this is humongous. Because when I go to Sam's, I always shop at Sam's. Everything looks small in the big carts, but then by the time you get it home, you can even fit it in your pantry because it's like, oh, okay, it's realization. It's like, these plates are just too big, and we end up going downsizing exactly what you just said to the nine. What you say? What 8.5, 9-inch or whatever?
9-inch plates.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And
same meal.
That
same
does
meal
make
everybody else has.
Yes,
9-inch plates.
That does make a difference. Something like that. People don't think that it does. It does, because it's like you can only fill up that circumference so much.
That's right.
You got to be okay with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can be satiated if you just take your time. I'm the kind of person that I eat fast. My mom always told me, it's like, you don't even taste your food when you eat it, because I'm just trying to just eat. So nobody else ends up eating my food, because we always have people in and out the house. I'm like, no, this is mine. So with that being said, as I've gotten older, I learned to eat and just slow down.
That's right.
Just slow down. Let your brain and your stomach communicate with each other and say, hey, this is enough.
Absolutely.
So the salad in the jar, I'm curious about that. How did you do that? Was it a mason jar, or just tell me about, because I see it. I've seen it online. I never really kind of like looked into it too much, but just give me an example of how you made your salad in jar.
Oh, yes, I put everything in it that I like. So I think I like things like, the pickled okra. I like lettuce, of course, tomatoes, cucumbers, and you just layer it. So I put my dressing on the bottom. You put your lettuce, then you put your whatever your topping is going to be. So whether it is the salad toppings that come with your cranberries and your nuts in it, if you want to add any additional vegetables or onions, you stack it all the way to the top and you put your meat on it. Yes. So I had an 8-ounce mason jar. So you can get 8 to 12 ounces of mason jars. That is your lunch. It's neat. It's clean. It's simple. You put 5 of them in your refrigerator and they stay. When it's time for lunch, you literally shake it up and dump it on a plate and it's good.
Oh my goodness. So, the 8-ounce, that's not huge, but it's not small. I have mason jars. I got some 32 ounces because I put my juice in there. But now I'm trying to gauge of the size of the 8 ounces. And it's like, that can be satiating if somebody puts their mind to it. Like you said, we're so used to eating on these big 15-inch plates, these big oval plates that we got at, church functions when we got dinners and stuff like that, where they got the big plates. But it's now when you get home, it's, reduce it. It's okay. And if you're hungry again, you can do something again. Go ahead.
I do want to say something right here. When you're using the word satiating and how something that we consider a smaller portion can be, right? One of the major things that makes your food fulfilling is that you're eating all day. Hello, somebody. So I learned to get like 2 boiled eggs and some toast for breakfast. 2 boiled eggs, some bacon, toast for breakfast, right? So I would pack all of these things. So I would have my breakfast, and then I would have some, I like the, I used to get fruit cups. Again, This is 11, 12 years ago, right? So I would have a fruit cup for lunch, and then I would have a granola bar back then. For my snack. Then I would have a lunch. So yes, your body doesn't have time to get in starvation mode if you keep feeding it. Correct. So that's another thing when we talk about portion size. You won't get filled up if you didn't eat anything all day and you come for this gigantic meal at night. You haven't had any water. You haven't been on your snacks. To me personally, everyone has a different concept. So I'm not trying to push any certain narrative. I'm just going to say, for me, being able, because I'm a grazer, you also need to know what type of eater you are as well. And because I'm a grazer, doing the 5 meals a day, 3 meals and 2 snacks works well because I had something on demand when I needed it already prepared.
And in addition to that, it's the quality of the food just as well, too, because a lot of times we think about if we're hungry or when we get hungry that, yes, it is eating, right? But it's like, what are you eating? Because you can eat something at, 12 o'clock and then be hungry again at 12:30, right?
Bag of chips, absolutely.
Yeah. And what happens is that the body is not, the body is hungry for nutrition and nutrients and vitamins. And a lot of times you can primarily find that in fresh foods, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, even fresh, protein meats or whatever, stuff that's not processed, stuff that's not fried. What happens is that the fried stuff is so easily and readily available that a lot of times we just, hey, Burger King's right there. Let me get something right then and there because I'm hungry right there. And then,
Absolutely.
you can get full, you get the itis a little bit, but then after a while, it's like, okay, I'm hungry again. But it's like, why? Your stomach feels bloated, but you still feel hungry. It's like, how can two things be true? Well, it's not that nutritious, for
No, it's
you.
not.
This is not, downplaying or, Xing out McDonald's, Burger King or nothing. No, it's just giving information of the reality of fresh foods are going to keep you satiated because they have the vitamins and they have the nutrients and they have the minerals needed to kind of stop that hunger signal from keep going off. Because it's like, okay, like you said, you didn't have any water, you're trying to eat this big meal, at night when you get off work or whatever. It's like, you haven't had water, you haven't flushed out anything, you haven't, probably haven't had any supplements, not no protein, no anything. And the body is just literally crying to you and say, hey, feed me, but not that though. You know what I mean? Feed me something that's going to be beneficial, that's going to give me the energy needed to keep you woke to study for your doctoral, pursuits and everything.
And the thing about it as well is your body is crying for nutrients, but most of the time it needs water. Hello, somebody.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Most of the time you need water in your life and you keep feeding yourself. Okay. And you are drinking. I get that a lot from people. Well, I drink stuff all day, but let's go back to your word. It's not satiating. It's not providing oxygen. Soda is not provide. Unfortunately, I know we love our sodas and our juices, but they're not providing the oxygen that we need that's going to refuel and give us the additional energy that we need to move throughout the day and be productive.
Yes, ma'am. Now you dropped 11 pounds in your first 2 weeks. What did week 3 or the first month or first 2 months look like far as for you in this pursuit to drop this weight? Did it stop there or did you continue going? How did that look like for you?
Absolutely not. What happened was now it became a necessity. It wasn't an option. Hello, somebody. And so that's a word for anybody watching this broadcast. Your health and wellness is a necessity. It's not an option. Okay. So it adds more life to your days. So after I set my routine, because you need one, right? Then I began to condition other people around me that, hey, at 6 o'clock, I have this event. At 8 o'clock, I have this event. And I showed up for myself. So that's another thing. A lot of times people don't respect your time because you don't respect it. So when you start respecting your time and showing up for yourself, it conditioned those folks around you. So I just kept progressing. Like I said, I have a great village. My mom has always been active. That became my walk buddy. Hello. So we set different challenges. We did different things with each other. Then we moved into Zumba, right? So I said, hey, I want to go try the Zumba class. I had been seeing it all online. I want to go. So I found a Zumba class, loved it. Love the fact that for 60 minutes or an hour and a half, we were just jamming with, wonderful music, great camaraderie and friends. So that's what happened. It became a building block. Walking is always my staple. It's right now is my staple. But then I slowly began to add other activities into my life that kept me active, that I enjoyed, that I could be fully engaged in and served its purpose, which was to keep the physical body in a better shape, burning calories, good for the cardiovascular system, to de-stress, but I kept my nutrition on point. Very conscious about what I eat.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
I'm very conscious. My nutrition. I'm very conscious about what I eat and when I eat it.
Say it one more time.
Nutrition. I'm very conscious.
One more time for the people in the back.
Nutrition. I'm very conscious about what I eat because you can't outwork a bad diet.
That's right.
So then I set a vanity goal, right? I said, hey, I wanted to be the finest doctor that walked across the stage at 35. That was my goal. Okay. So that when you set goals, your energy, your mindset goes to that goal, whatever it is. Right. So I was like, hey, that's what I want to do. And I did that. So by the time, and I slim slow. So by the time I graduated, which at that time was like 2 years later, I had dropped 45 pounds in real life.
Okay. So it took you 2 years to drop 45 of your overall 94. So 2 years, right? For 45
2
pounds?
years. 2 years.
Okay. And the reason why I say that is because we live in this day and age where people want instant gratification. They want to do one sit up or two sit ups and then just have a six pack. And the reason why I had you repeat nutrition is that I want people to get that in their head. Nutrition.
Absolutely.
And yes, working out is cool. Working out is fun because to an extent, it has a time limit. To an extent, whether it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour and a half, whatever.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Do your thing. But what does not have a time limit is your nutrition. Your nutrition. And I'm saying this as somebody who's had ups and downs. And one thing that's in common when I'm down is my nutrition is not intact.
Absolutely.
And that's in common when I'm up is that my nutrition is intact. Ain't got really nothing to do with the workout per se.
Absolutely.
It can help kind of boost or accelerate, give you a little bit of, umph. But the reality is, it is your nutrition. And like you said, you slim slow. It is going to take time. I believe that since we live in this day and age of instant gratification and people want to have the results right then and there. And it's like, can you endure? All this stuff is about endurance. Like, you said you did 5 mason jars of salads, once a week or whatever. Can you endure the time that it takes to meal prep? Can you endure the time that it takes to go to the grocery store? Sometimes you have a better day. Sometimes you won't. We get that, but you still endure because what you said and what you're saying is you honoring your word. We are taught so much about honoring other people, right? There's nothing wrong with that. If it's like, hey, we have an interview today at 9 a.m., right? I have to make sure I honor that. But then at the same time, am I honoring myself if I say, okay, well, after this, I plan to work out, right? And let's just say I don't. I'm not honoring myself. You know what I mean? I'm not keeping the word to myself. And I think that's important too, of people have to realize like what you said. It's like, okay, I want to be the finest doctor to walk that stage. And you honored your word to yourself. And I believe that is just as important, because it helps you, build confidence. It's like, you know what? I did do that. Do that, and that is very important to the psyche. Now, 2 years, 45 pounds. What was your weight loss? I don't want to say goal, but the pursuit. What was the pursuit after the 2 years, to lose that additional, let's say 50 pounds?
Just to be healthy and well and have great vital signs. Again, your goals are going to change. And most people, they do start with a vanity goal, vacations, weddings, photo shoots, graduations. Those are great. I'm going to say initial goals. But as you mature, as you grow and develop, as you educate yourself, as you learn, at the end of the day, this is the fountain of youth. Hello, somebody. You literally reverse things in your body by taking care of yourself, by minimizing your stress. Food is a natural medicine. It will heal your body, right? And so after that, I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the stress relief. I fell in love with my village. I got reacquainted with things that, fit me. And why do I say that? Oftentimes people are very intimidated about starting a health and wellness journey because they're watching influencers that are, flipping tires and jumping off buildings and, leaping through the air. And that, like literally, they have like superhuman athletic ability. And I appreciate them for that, right? But the question is, what if I don't at that moment, right? Yeah. So I started doing things like I did attend my first boot camp. That was not something I was ever confident enough to do. So what was the pursuit? To find different activities, to incorporate practical, sustainable, that's the word, sustainable principles that I could do what? If I was 30, 40, 50, as a mother, a wife, a person of the community, what can I still do to maintain great vital signs, a good BMI, a great attitude, de-stress, good mental clarity? So that became the pursuit. And so I transitioned into, had some great mentors in Zumba, loved the classes. I became certified, took that back to my community because now it's I'm a transformational leader. So now I'm blogging by this time. People are following me before I'm certified. I'm giving out information. Now I get the certifications in personal training and RIPT and Zumba and transformational coaching and all the things, right? Take those tools back to my community so that I can educate the community that I serve on things that are sustainable, doable, and cost effective. Hello, somebody. Because you can't take $25 to the store and feed your family a basic, healthy meal. You can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you made it so clear. I laughed so much when it said tire flipping and jumping off buildings. And I'm like, so when are we going to use that in a day-to-day, let's say, living? You know, and maybe it's just something just to be super active. That's fine. Mm-hmm. That's true. Mm-hmm. Just as a personal trainer, sometimes I just have my eyebrow raised and I was like, okay, when is somebody going to use that? But they may not ever. And that's okay. And that's okay. Right. Just, hey, can I do it? And I'm just like, oh, okay. I just train differently. Right. But just with that being said, the illusion as if like, man, it's going to take all of that. I got to do all of that to lose weight. It's like, you don't. You can start with, like you said, some 20-minute walks, 25-minute walks, $25 to the grocery store, the simplicity of it. Because as you get wiser in regards to just being older into, say, health, wellness, fitness, however you want to classify it, the simple things are the ones that work. The simple things are the ones that work, that will always endure the test of time. Simple meals, water, walk, and having a good support team. Now, you mentioned your mother and friends and clients. Can you expand how they helped you on your fitness journey?
Absolutely. I love to show up for my people. Hello, somebody. My mama was my first client, as far as really just putting all the coaching tips into place, right? She's always been my rider. So she was the fitness director. She would do ballys and we would be doing, all type of workouts at that time, with the leotards and Richard Simmons in the living room, all the things, right? So we've always been on one accord as it relates to doing better to take care of ourselves, right? So mom is just always there. Now, as it relates to friends and community, I love showing up and I love the demand to show up. Come on, because what happens is it forces you never to get comfortable when you know that you've got to stand before your fitness class of 30 to 40 people. When they're looking for your post, when they see you put up water and they say, I didn't drink my water today. When they see you go for a simple walk and you say something like, hey, busy day today, but I still got in my steps. And someone says, let me go get some steps in. Hey, Dr. K, I'm going to join you. So just being able to show up, that demand works well because why? Those are goals. You are impacting someone's lives. Not that you are perfect, but that it allows you to be very transparent and open about staying fit and what it takes to be sustainable and how it is doable with intention if you are a mogul, if you are a mom, if you are a dad, all the things that sometimes we can hang our hats on and put ourselves on the back burner. But what good are you if you can't run with your children?
That's true.
If you can't pick them up. I'm not saying if you have any elements or other issues that prevent you from doing that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the number one thing that I hear from clients is I want to be around for my grandchildren and my children. I want to have the strength to pick them up and to get up off the floor and to carry them and to be active. And so that demand for me, there's a need for me. Mm-hmm. It keeps me going and I absolutely love it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, you mentioned about going to the doctor, getting the numbers, and they print that sheet off. I got my sheet right over here on this corner of this table, so I constantly look at it. When I'm feeling myself too much, it's like, now we're doing 3 miles today on the treadmill. But the blood pressure medication, now, when you lost the weight or in the pursuit of losing weight, were you going back to the doctor and getting the A-OK for either still staying away from it? Did they ever put you on it? Just tell a little bit more about, okay, you didn't want to get on blood pressure medication.
Yes.
Did you accomplish that goal to stay away from that?
Low dose, because my blood pressure was outrageous, like 5 to 10 milligrams and nothing more. And let me tell you the determining factor. And this is what some people don't understand. To keep low to no doses. And what do I mean low to no? Low means they may help you get regulated, and no dose means they can take you off of it, right? First of all, make sure you follow whatever your doctor is saying, because you don't want to do things like mess up your kidneys or liver by self-diagnosing and taking your own. So I know you may not want to take the medicine, but take it until. Okay. Say it again. Take it until, and then do your part. All right. Take it until. But
so what if I follow a Instagram follower or Instagram influencer, and they tell me to take this? But they got 10,000 followers. They got 100,000 followers.
So doctor said, keep believing in prayer, because I got a whole faith-based community. All right. Keep believing in prayer. Do what your doctor says and do your part. Now, what I'm going to say to that is this. One of the deciding factors on your blood pressure is to lose weight. Every 5 to 10 pounds of weight raises your blood pressure, because that's the cardiovascular system having to work harder. Now, I do know that there are small people that have genetic issues with blood pressure. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that are able to control their weight by their diets and exercise, just like type 2 diabetes. You don't have to have type 2 diabetes. You have that because of lack of diet and lack in exercise. That's why they're able to adjust the insulin or medications or take you off. And the doctor will always say to you first, have you started walking? You're going to need to change your diet typically before they put you on the medication. So my point is this: what has kept everything regulated? Every checkup's good. Thank you, Lord, for that. No increase, no additions, no medicine, none of those things, is because I constantly work on my weight. I de-stress, which means I keep myself out of a hypertensive lifestyle. Okay. And I eat better, and I drink water. When I look back 11 years ago, not sleeping, not really focused on how much water I drink. Diet Coke was my jam. Okay. Yeah. And I ate that every day. Recipe for blood pressure. And I was 40 pounds overweight.
Amazing. Amazing. Now, let's address the real issue here.
Okay.
The picture in the background. How did that happen? That is amazing. You competed. This is amazing right there. This is amazing. I want to hear all about that. All right. So when we talk about my max weight of the 85 to 95 pounds, right, that includes me being the smallest I've ever been to hit the stage. So I was excited about that. Again, Chris, we talk about community. You talk about friends. I am a believer in the scripture that says iron sharpens iron. And so I'm going to say one woman, one friend to another, right? One sister to another. So I posted, I think it's like around my 37th birthday. I said, hey, guys, I need to do something different. I had some trouble areas. My arms was waving back at me at the time. And I said, what should I do? So one of my friends was like, hey, you need to lift weights. I was like, okay, cool. So I started lifting weights, right? And I loved it. I was like, yeah. So I'm keeping the curves, lifting the weights, changing the body. And then I had another girlfriend that said, okay, so Dr. K, she said, you lost all your weight. You got your curves popping. She said, when are you going to do a show? Now, many years ago, when I was in my 20s, I was like, oh, I want to do a physique show. Not really knowing what that was. Oh, I want to do a physique show, right? So anyway, I had some gracious friends that were like, hey, you need to do a competition. Just get out there and do it. Show your results. Let's see what happens. I was like, okay, fine. So I entered my first bodybuilding competition in 2017.
2017. Did my first show. Didn't place in that show. It was a class of 45 women, and they were amazing, but I did it so I could understand the process, go through with it. It was a ball. That is a spiritual journey. Hello, somebody. Training for the stage. Yes, it is about being the leanest you can be. It is about eating the best you can eat, working out, pushing yourself hard, but it requires a lot of spiritual meditation. It requires a lot of prayer and faith and endurance because it's hard. Hello, somebody. So it teaches you even more principles about resilience and nutrition, about your mindset, about your body, and about your village. Who's rocking with you? So I had a good team just rocking with me, encouragement and support. 9 months after that, I did my second show, placed 4th in the 40 and over category.
Congrats.
I was blessed by that. 2021 came out of the pandemic. You know, everybody was having brain fog and gaining 15 pounds and just kind of not being able to push through the pandemic. Hello, somebody. Took that energy. Hey, here's a word for somebody. Take your energy. I know you may be upset. You may be hurt. You may be going through some depression. You may be down. You may need mental clarity. Take that energy, okay, and put it into your health and wellness, right? That is the most underrated form of therapy there is. Hitting the gym, going for a walk, taking care of yourself, because it helps you to gain clarity and relieve stress. So coming out of the pandemic, 2021, we were still in it. All right. I took that time. I took all that energy, right? All of the locked in, the remote energy, just not being able to hug and touch my friends, just all the things. Put it into another show. I won one full category. I've won first place.
Congrats.
I won two third place medals and a second place. So I'm kind of decorated right now. I'm kind of decorated.
I love it.
So,
I love it. I love it. And you bring up a very good point in addition to the physical, right? The transformation in regards to, you know, being overweight, weight loss transformation. And that's one part. And that's a desired, I would say, pursuit of so many people to get them so much, you know, motivated or get them hooked in to, you know, buy your program or train with you or whatever. But one thing that maybe I'm guilty of it. I blame myself first, but the emphasis on exactly what you said, that mental clarity, right? That mental clarity. Me, I'm a hothead. Always been a hothead since I've been young. And there's been situations to where I wasn't able to deal with my anger in say the best of ways, right? But once I started working out and lifting weights, or however just working out is, right? My workout consists of a variety of things. The clarity that I get, the clarity that I gain, and the calmness that I feel afterwards.
The calmness,
right? The calmness that I feel afterwards. And it's really unmatched. It's really unmatched. Just lately in our community, I've been seeing a lot of relationship podcasts, and I don't know if it's my algorithm or whatever. And there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of vitriol, you know, battle of the sexes. I think that's something that maybe every group has. I don't know. I can only talk about our community. But I can't help but notice is that, well, a lot of these people don't even lift. They don't work out. I'm like, you have all this anger and built up and you want to just get on this microphone and just talk. You can have your opinion, but it seems, and I can assume, and I can be wrong. I'm open to that, but I have to put it out there. Do you work out to relieve that stress? Because it seems like there's so much concentration that it's like, are you focusing on relieving that stress through physical activity? Because there's a certain activity, there's a certain exercise, and there's a certain weight. And you know that whatever type of attitude you come to the gym with, you get under that bar, you straighten right up. You straighten right up. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the part where you're like, okay, well, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about just not dying, you know what I mean? By, you know, trying to press this up because I want to press it up. I know I can, but it's a place to where, I've been under some weight where it's just like, man, it's just me and God right now. You understand? And I put myself in that position. I put myself in that position to clear my mind because I'm so heated about something. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you don't focus on it, it's going to drop on your chest. You understand? But that's just me. But just what you're saying about just that mental clarity to where it's like, okay, let me run for 20 minutes. I'm not feeling myself. There's been certain times where, like you said, every day, you get up, you got this routine, and there's been some times when you get off of your routine and then you feel that throughout the day. And I'm like, I know exactly what's wrong with me. Yeah. Get on the treadmill, get off. I'm like, okay, all is well. It's like that Snickers commercial when they said, you're not yourself if you don't eat a Snickers. No, you're not yourself if you don't work out. You understand what I'm saying? You're not yourself when you work out. Now, winning these competitions and, placing and all of that, how has this helped you maintain your weight loss for over 10 years?
Oh, that's a great question, because now I strength train. So I do want to say this. The stage body is not your everyday body. Let me just say that. Okay. So by the time we get to the stage, we've really pushed. We've done the things that we need to do to show off that nutrition and that work. And then we have to go back into integrating back in, our carbs and our water so that we can fill out and all the jazz. Right. But what it has done is it has taught me how to lift, how to push my limits. It has taught me how to persevere. It has taught me how not to be afraid. Hello, somebody. There's this myth about if you lift weights that you're going to look like a man. No, I look like a woman. Hello. But my body is also very shapely. And so there are a lot of ladies that are struggling to maintain their curves, not understanding that weights is the cheat code. You don't have to hit the stage to get your nice 5 or 10 pound weight or to do some squats or some push-ups or other things that challenge your muscles in a way of resistance to build them. Because when you get over 40, you start losing about 6% of your muscle, 3 to 6%, I believe the research says. And so as you get older in age, that's why they tell the elderly, start lifting canned goods and raise your arms. So what has it taught me? It has taught me that I can do whatever I want to do in health and wellness. Hello, somebody. Number one. Number two, it has taught me how to lift weights and to fall in love with it. Number three, it has taught me another sustainable principle that I can do until the day the Lord calls me home. Yes, so it's been a very deep and gratifying journey. It's not for everybody, and I get that. But when the Lord calls you to it, I believe you got to be called to certain things. You can't just jump up and do a show if you're not mentally ready for it. So when he calls you to it, he equips you to go through all of the steps, learn different things. He puts people in your life that will come alongside of you and encourage you and also help to further empower and equip you. And then you learn through the process. You learn.
Yes, ma'am. Now, shoot off a couple quick questions in regards to working out. So what is your least favorite muscle group or exercise? And what is your favorite muscle group or exercise to train?
Okay, so that's a hard question because I love compound movements. So I'll work all the muscle groups.
Okay.
I don't necessarily have a least favorite. Okay. I don't. I know some people that just come in and only work lower body. No, I like to have, because again, bodybuilding, right? We're taught to have a balanced physique, all right, in certain areas. So we're taught that all muscle groups matter. Okay. Not one over the other for aesthetic purposes. Right. So we're taught that the whole body matters and how it matters and what the shape of your group should look like. Right. So typically that is my focus. I transitioned out of figure into physique because physique actually naturally fits my body type. So I do workouts according to what is needed for that group. So I don't have a muscle group that I don't like to work.
Okay. What about your favorite though?
My favorite muscle group, favorite muscle groups, I love. See, that's hard. That's hard because I love all of it. But if you make me pick, I love a good leg day. I love to work on the wheels. On the wheels. Okay.
I'm looking at the picture farthest to my right where you're in the red, and I'm looking at your shoulders. Now, I've been wanting my shoulders, my lateral head to be like that, but probably, I'll say honestly, all jokes aside, the last say like 3 to 4 months, I've been kind of honing more in on just lateral flies because I wasn't confident, because for years I just slept on this left side, and it's healing now. And that's because I started emphasizing more on my rear delts and my
Okay.
traps. And like you said, you like compound, I had to isolate a lot more. And I had to realize, like you said, it's, you can do what you put your mind to. And the body is amazing when it comes to certain things. It's like, okay, I've rested long enough. I'm the kind of person that if I rest long enough and it's still something going on, it's like, okay, I got to do something else. And it wasn't until I started kind of just really research. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to attack from just the wrong angle. And what it was that my rear delts wasn't built up. The moment I started building my rear delts, that pain start leaving. And then I was able to start lifting more, say, efficiently, experiment with heavier weight on lateral flies. And it's not a hated exercise anymore. And there's been a lot of exercises that I did not like just because I may have been weak in that certain area or weak in that muscle for whatever reason. And, when you get older, you try to figure out or ask yourself, it's like, why? Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? Why is this hurting? Why is this aching? And you get certain answers. You're like, oh, okay, let me try that. So yes, your shoulders, amazing. What is your least favorite, let's say, thing to eat? And what is your favorite food item to eat, including cheat meals, or let me not say cheat meals. I'm trying to re-educate myself and say indulge meals. And I don't like the word cheat. It sounds just like we villainize food too much. You're like villainizing carbs. It's like, no, indulge. Like, so what's your favorite indulge meal or meal prep meal, and what's your least favorite?
Oh, man. So my favorite meal of all times, listen, after every show, we're going to get a hamburger, some fries, and a strawberry shake. That's typically after every show. That's the post. Everybody knows I'm going to get a burger. So that's my favorite meal. As far as meal preps, I really I love the combination of my ground turkey, my rice, or sweet potato with some broccoli. I just love that combination together. It just tastes so good to me. I will eat fish. Typically, fish stays in the diet, period. We call that a Jesus food. Fish is great for pulling off water and giving you all the nutrition that you need for a protein. I don't like it so much in prep when it's fish weeks. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. But not really off limits from the things that I know I need to eat. And let me drop something right here for somebody. Give old school foods a chance. Okay. What do I mean by that? A lot of times people were scarred in 1969 as it relates to a beet or a Brussels sprout, and they will never eat it again. Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Now, understanding that preparation has changed, seasonings have changed, the way to consume the food has changed. What do I mean by that? Beets, you don't have to just go out in a raw garden and bite into a beet. We have beet juice and beet powders. Beet is very good. It's natural energy and oxygen. So pickle beets on your salads. Give those type of things a chance. I love Brussels sprouts, oven roasted in the oven with a nice little, coconut oil on them. So I want to tell somebody that today. A lot of times people, I don't like vegetables. I don't eat. You've had a bad experience in your childhood. I want you to release that trauma. Okay. And be open to try something new, because healthy food, there's a lot of healthy food. People tend to narrow it down to just green beans or just a salad because it's a mindset shift. So really not too much off limits on things that I know I need to eat that serve a purpose. For my body, for my health and wellness.
Now, when you hit your weight loss goal or several different goals that you hit, and you had your 45-pound goal, let's say within 2 years, and then you drop another 50, then you plan to go on stage. What did you learn about yourself hitting those goals and setting yourself with those goals, setting out? What did you learn that you can tell somebody else in regards to them being on the fence? And if they may be on the fence of starting their weight loss journey or their fitness journey, what did you learn that you could tell them to help motivate them to get started or continue on in their fitness journey?
You know what? That's a nice question. And I like the way you said it. And let me tell you why. Sometimes people get stuck at a number on the scale, and that messes too with their mindset. I like what you said. You hit several goals. How did you deal with that? That's important. Why is that important? Because my lifestyle goal. So that's a word for somebody. You might have what is considered a comfortable calorie deficit lifestyle goal where you're fulfilled, but you look good and you feel good. You need to figure out what that number is. That's number one. Number two, hitting the stage, let me know what my limits were if I chose to stay in that type of mindset. However, sometimes when you stay too low at a calorie deficit for so long, it has a reverse effect. So we're always educating people to reverse diet, sometimes take a little diet breaks, get you one of those meals so that you can get the fats and different things back in your body. So it's a mindset, but I have lifestyle clients and I would tell them, let's get the weight that's going to keep you healthy, get you off of your medicines, make sure that, and they go back to the doctor, and these are things that have come back to me. Your A1C is good. Those are things I'm concerned about. Your A1C numbers, your cholesterol numbers are good. They're dropping your blood pressure medication. Your stress is down. So what have I learned? Lifestyle goals and stage goals, two different things. Number three, body dysmorphia. Don't enter that zone. Understand the different levels that you're going to experience. That way you keep a sound mind on all of your goals.
Beautiful. Now, you mentioned coaching. Where can people reach you for coaching? And can you expand a little bit on the specifics on what you coach, your clients, and what it is that you do, and let people know? Of course, I'll have everything in the description, but let people know where they can reach you, website, Instagram, or wherever.
Okay, so you can always follow me and inbox me on Facebook, Dr. Kendra Mayes. I can link you into my Facebook fitness page, which is Kingdom Fitness by Dr. Kendra Mayes. Instagram is Kingdom Fitness _Dr. K. My website is www.kingdomcorner.com. What I coach is I have lifestyle coaching. So for those people that do just what I said, we just want to have a healthy lifestyle. I do personal training. My services are offered online. I come out, I do women events, conferences, motivational speaking that do the same thing. They're interactive workshops where we incorporate physical fitness throughout the workshop, along with answering and educating you about the purpose of your nutrition, rest, and weightlifting. So that's just a fraction of the things that I do in my community as a transformational coach working in health and wellness.
All right. You heard it here first from Dr. Kendra Mayes. And this brings us to the end of another episode of the Success Fitness Podcast. Again, I want to thank Dr. Kendra Mayes, for coming on the podcast. And if you found inspiration in today's podcast and would like to support, then sign up to my weekly newsletter, the Success Fitness Newsletter. You'll get access to my new ebook. It's a free ebook. How Many Calories Should I Eat? It's a guide with resources within to find your daily caloric intake and your macro intake to ensure success in reaching your fitness goals. You'll also get access to my private Facebook community, Success Fitness Family, and weekly emails when this podcast publishes every Sunday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. The link to sign up to the Success Fitness newsletter will be in the description, as well as Dr. Kendra Mayes' website and also her Instagram, and you'll see it here in the graphics stated and posted here. So again, thank you for listening to the Success Fitness Podcast. And remember, if it's not making you stronger, simply chant more weight, more weight, more weight. Peace out.